Good evening, everyone. Good evening to those of you who hate my microphone and think my sound is terrible. Even to you, I hope you have a good evening. And I hope that you will buy me a microphone, the one of your choosing, and I will use that microphone because I have two microphones and neither of them seem to be sufficient. So always always shopping around for a new mic. Thank you, anyone and everyone who's tuning in. I want to talk a little bit about my chair race. I've been working on my website and really ironing out what I hope to accomplish over the next couple of years. And it's been difficult to articulate. I had a live stream with Karen Ann Harlos and Hannah Goodman on Friday talking about it, and I've been working on it a little bit since then. I mean, I will say that as challenging as it has been, serving as chair has been like a really incredible privilege, and I'm super proud of the progress that I've made and that the rest of the LNC has made. Whether it's been the resources we built for our candidates to having the opportunity to stand strong in our convictions in the face of scrutiny and criticism and improving party operations, I think we've achieved a lot. One of the things that I regret is that we were not louder about it. I have tried to keep a lid on it when it comes to criticism by like deranged, mentally ill people who have fled the party. And looking back on it, I feel like we probably could have bragged a little bit more on the things that we did. So, it's a little bit late in the game for that, but better late than never. I do want to share about some of our accomplishments and start talking about that a little bit more because I definitely am reseeking and I do want to get support. I really think that we're approaching a crossroads, and the challenges that our party faced over the past 2 years have been notable, right? Attacks from corporate media, pro-war groups of liberals, sabotage from disgruntled former staffers who have access to grind and things to hide, quite frankly. But in spite of all of that nonsense, we're thriving and we're wielding incredible influence in spite of all of these stupid attacks. We've made tough decisions. We've faced down our critics, and we are transforming the Libertarian Party into a force to be reckoned with. Tonight, I want to share a little bit about the details of that transformation, a little teaser about some things that could potentially happen in the future, and make the case for why my leadership, I think, is essential to the next chapter of the LP. We're moving closer to a world where individual liberty isn't just a slogan, right? Like, I think it's going to become a reality. We've seen Javier Milei elected president in Argentina, and, spoiler alert, shocker, I don't think that we're going to have that happen this term, but it's becoming like commonplace and normal to talk about libertarianism, individual rights. That's like a really awesome thing. And with your support, I think that we're going to get the party there a lot faster and hopefully, without crushing inflation and near economic collapse like they had in Argentina. Let's talk about some of the party's. Let's dig into the party's infrastructure. So many of the things that I have done have been so I think about it and I think about how I'm going to talk about it on a live stream, and it's just boring. It just bores me to tears. I think no one's interested in this. They want to see me doing things like, ratioing crazy people and leftists and, cringe right-wingers like Ben Shapiro. And instead I'm like, let me talk about operations. But the truth is, like, a lot of the elements of my job are boring. I get to, get in media sound bites here and there. I had a really wild, entertaining interview Thursday, where some corporate journalist asked me about Sandy Hook and tried to get me some weird gotcha thing there. And I got to own him, and I'll probably drop that in locals if I can find it. But it's a lot of staff meetings. It's a lot of operations, poring over spreadsheets, trying to analyze, looking past emails and understand what the hell somebody did, 2, 4, 6 years ago, why they quit doing X, Y, and Z. It's that kind of stuff. I think we really started by trying to figure out how to have an appropriate board of directors dynamic. It's been no secret, we've had some struggles really like finding our pace with the board. I don't think there's been nearly as much board drama in our term than there was in the previous 2 or even 4 years. And, credit where credit is due. We've had a couple blowups. We've had high turnover, but it has not actually been that chaotic and insane. With a board of directors voting on nearly everything, a lot of decisions are reached through consensus. And past chairs have not done that. You can ask Karen Ann Harless about that. I have done a lot more consensus leadership because I felt that it was appropriate considering everything that we had been through and the campaigning we had done and the things that we were trying to avoid, like a Sarwark style or JBH, like trying to avoid chair gotcha moments and subterfuge and just like, having, can't think of the word right now, people not trusting each other essentially. So I thought it was important to try something different and try to lead by consensus. It takes diplomacy, negotiation, persuasion. It's a lot of work, especially with a new board that doesn't know each other. We had to deal with some competing priorities, and I've talked about that a little bit. It's complex to manage various stakeholders' interests. People had different ideas about who should be in charge of what, how much power to give staff with creative vision, who to employ. There's been plenty of drama there, and I've tried to shield staff from a lot of it because I want to respect their privacy and have them working their best and feeling good about themselves too, and not getting dragged through the mud publicly. It can be difficult reaching consensus when our visions aren't aligned, and not everyone on the board was totally aligned, even though we did have a strong Mises majority. We had some members who prioritized the CRM in particular. I prioritized the overall health of our organization by almost any means necessary, within the alignment of the vision that the Mises Caucus voted us in with. But let's talk about some challenges outside of the CRM, because I feel like I've talked that one to death. When I came in, we had no fundraising plan, none. We relied solely on recurring revenue. And that became a major hindrance when we were hurt and had some of our recurring revenue cut off with the failed migration of the failed CRM migration. And it hurt when we had, massive hate campaigns targeting us by like these deranged weirdos who quit the party and stormed off. And so we had to work on that. That was like a huge problem. We had a deeply dysfunctional operations department. Things were kept secret from me. Sometimes bills would not be paid. I had no way of knowing it. I just found out another bill, hadn't been paid from like a year ago. There was virtually no oversight of the department. It took an enormous amount of time and energy to correct these problems and to rein them in. And we are still uncovering new problems, that originated in years past, but we're facing them head on instead of sweeping them under the rug. And I think that represents a real shift in organizational style with the LP. And I'm going to share some past reports that are public before we get to the national convention, because it's just going to have to come out. It's all going to have to come out in a couple of board meetings, LNC meetings that we have online. It took a massive amount of time to fix all of these problems. Let me outline a few more of them. The first year, we spent a lot of time trying to work with the people that were already on staff, trying to see who was compatible with us, what were their ideas, what were things that they had struggled with. It's important to try to learn from the people who come before you, because you don't want to repeat past mistakes. There were some very fine people on staff, and there still are. I really do enjoy working with some of the staff that were hired by people who came before me. We had to assess everything that was wrong, though, and really allow staff the autonomy to fix some of the problems themselves. Because if I came in and just started aggressively micromanaging things, that was going to blow up too. And after a year of dysfunction, where a lot of it really was surrounding the CRM battle, I did step in and temporarily take over operations and step in as executive director. And, I discovered the extent of the operations problem was much worse than I thought. And I already thought it was really bad. I hired independent accountants to begin fixing problems in that area. I hired a new operations director, because it's not my intention to micromanage and control everything. It's quite exhausting. I recommend everybody delegate as much as you can. Delegate as much as you can, find good people, trust them, empower them, and let them do their jobs. So there was that. Next I hired a fundraising contractor, and there was controversy over my hire. And he was here for 6 months, but he brought in revenue and he was cheap. And those two facts are indisputable. And then we discovered more problems, right? We had no marketing funnels outside of the presidential election. What does that mean? If you don't know what that means and you work in the Libertarian Party or you're running an affiliate, don't feel bad because so many people don't know what it means. There's nothing wrong with you. It just means that this is an institutional learning problem for us. And we're going to overcome it together because I'm going to share everything with you that I learn about it. Zero marketing funnels. We didn't have Google AdWords working. We didn't have a whole lot of other stuff. We had a marketer who was very skilled, but who had been extremely underutilized in the past and overworked. And so now he's just overworked because I am utilizing his skill set and showing him appreciation and empowering him to do his job and get things done. And we've also taken on an additional marketing firm to help us in the areas where he's just got too much going on. What else? Let's talk a little bit more about some additional upgrades we made in operations. Technology upgrades. IT and operations are not the same department, but it kind of falls within the same purview. We have a new website that's going to come out right after our CRM. So we're switching to Zoho. We're in the middle. Some of you who run affiliates have reached out, and I've connected you with Eric Fowler and the IS committee so that they can give you a rundown of Zoho CRM. They are the ones that picked it. I had conversations with Zoho and with the contractor they're using to implement and have to handle the migration. Total confidence. I love everything that I've seen, but Eric is the one with expertise, and so I defer to his judgment on that. Same with Andy Bukovich and Canyon and our other staffers. Website again, our marketing guy just slammed. So we took what our marketer and our volunteer had advised us to do, and we gave it to another contractor and said, can you please implement this vision and style and get all this content on? So that is in the process right now. We will see a new website right after our CRM. It would be too much to do it all at once. So I think we'll give it about a week, make sure there's no major bugs that need to be worked out, and then our site will go live. Bam. Very nice. On that note, another thing that was really critical for operations and IT is improving communication within the party and within staff. We use Teams. We use Microsoft Outlook. We switched from G Suite to Outlook. After being switched over, I got to say, I think most of us prefer G Suite because we were comfortable with it. But the switch saved us thousands of dollars. There's just no contest. Financially, it was the correct choice to make. It saved us so much money. We were already using Teams with staff. We use that for, the chats, meetings, notes. We use Planner. We use project management software. So now, if I got hit by a bus, if someone just up and disappears on staff, you can still see everything that was being worked on. You can look into the past and see what we've been doing. You can see our trajectory and what we were intending to do. You wouldn't be lost. You wouldn't be recreating the wheel. It's so crucial for institutional memory and for successorship to have systems like that in place. I've talked about when I came in as chair, we didn't have proper successorship. And I don't even mean that as a dig at the individual who came before me. She probably didn't have it either. And I bet the person who came before her didn't have it. And I think this is just a failure institutionally. It's why even blame anyone at this point? We just see it for what it is, and let's just all fix it. And I know that there are affiliates that have struggled with this too. Some of it has to do with infighting, but some of it also has to do with burnout. People are just done. When they leave our organization and they leave positions of leadership, they're done. They don't want you to call them. They want time with their families. So work-life balance, we need to work on that. But what else? With communication, inviting LNC members to staff meetings occasionally so that they can see what we're doing to build trust and have better relationships. Because one thing I noticed when I came on board is staff and the LNC were at odds. It was team staff versus team LNC, and that's not a good way to run anything. Not at all. You get staff worship, you get staff hate. Someone asked, is this streaming somewhere besides YouTube? Yep, it's on Twitter. So it was just a really bad way to run things. So now we have more collaboration. We don't have information siloed. Staff works with the convention committee to get things done. By the way, be on the lookout for some really awesome emails promoting our convention over the next week. We have really awesome speakers, and we're going to be sending out coupon codes, so make sure you grab those. So what else? After I fixed operations, we turned to fundraising and began to repair that. All of these fixes had to be done in blocks of like 6 weeks, a month, and we started to really dig in August. That's when I deeply just like dug in. It was like a Jesus take the wheel moment. So then I turned to customer service after fundraising, trying to repair customer service with our affiliates, and began the long, difficult process of fixing that. And I know it's still not up to speed, but we are working very hard on it. And a lot of that has to do with the massive amount of technical debt that we inherited from the migration, and the fact that we were just not properly set up to service 50 state affiliates while also fixing broken technological tools for the national party is just too much, but it will improve after Zoho is implemented. That dovetailed into IT, break from the CRM. And that sort of brings us all the way up to marketing. All the while, we've been doing candidate support and anti-war activism too, which you've heard me address many times. Let's see, another question. When will the LNC be considering candidate support recommendations? I think we generally consider those as they come in. And if there's going to be one, someone should recommend for it to get noticed for our meeting. We have a meeting April 7th. So let's talk about candidate support soon, because I have quite a few things to say on that. Marketing. We're in the middle of a fundraising audit and a marketing audit. What does that mean? It means we have a contractor look at all of the fundraising appeals that we do, phone calls, direct mail, emails, SMS, anything and everything that exists, fundraisers, someone who's very experienced, and tells us, this is what you did right, this is what you did wrong, this is what you need to do to improve. Very excited to have that. Super excited about that. We have the same thing happening for marketing, and it's two different vendors. They're both highly specialized. We've got to learn, how do we establish new marketing funnels when our current funnels have plateaued or dried up, or they seem to not exist? How do we improve our fundraising processes when we seem to have hit max capacity with our current donors? And what I mean by that too is, like, staff is working hard, they're showing up, they're making calls, they're coming up with creative ideas, they're collaborating with each other, we're sending things out, and our returns are starting to diminish. What do we need to do to improve? We are going to find out. We're also overhauling social media promotional strategies. So no, that doesn't mean we will become less based on Twitter, but it means that we're going to start utilizing social media correctly, however that is, to promote the things that are very important, because ultimately it doesn't matter how freaking awesome our Twitter content is if it doesn't help the goals of the party. We should be advancing membership, we should be getting more people to run as libertarians, and we should be getting donors. And there's no reason that we can't use social media strategically in certain ways to advance those goals. We are going to be creating new outreach materials. We're very close to done with that. And we are working with also a political PR and advertising firm that is using the beautiful content that our social media team already makes to advertise the party. I love it. I got to say that we have a very skilled social media team. I really appreciate them. And I really want to just like drive home that throughout all of this, something I've emphasized is that we have to ask for help from people who are experienced and professional. We have a ton of activists in the party, and I appreciate your activism, and it's very important. But what we need to do is, when it comes to making money and managing things operational, we've got to have people who are experienced and not necessarily activists. And certainly sometimes that Venn diagram overlaps. But when I look through the party's history, I see more often than not, it has not overlapped very much. And so that's why we call in people who are outside of the party, and we pay them, and we just make sure we provide oversight so that they're not telling us to do stupid things like say, oh, pro-taxation, or, oh, why do you hate on the Federal Reserve? Why don't you say they're great? None of that. But we got to get some advice. We should also have some updates on our audits and our new marketing efforts by the middle of April, and I will share them with you. I will share them with our members and with our affiliates so you can benefit from it too. That is really important. Let's talk about candidate support. Since we had a question about that, we have a candidate support committee. They vet requests from us. Let me tell you what the LNC wants to see to make recommendations on giving money to candidates. They want to see that it's going to benefit the national party, which we are, and so that's okay. That's a reasonable goal, which means they want to see the word libertarian on your website. They want to see libertarian branding. They want it to be winnable. Please do not ask for funding if you don't have a campaign manager and if you are not actively fundraising yourself. As a candidate, your number one job is to pick up the phone and call for money. If that is really difficult for you, I can understand, because I've been a candidate twice and it was painful for me the first time I did it, but you need to get over it. You have to, what's a better way for me to say that? You must overcome that anxiety and hesitancy, and you can do it. There's a lot of really good YouTube videos. There's a TED Talk video that I listen to over and over again. Every time before I'm going to call donors and say thank you or try to ask for money, I listen to this TED Talk by this lady who's really good at fundraising to get me, like, in the right frame of mind. You can overcome it if you're not naturally good at it. You can. So please, those are things that are very important. If you're a candidate and you want candidate support, you need to be running a serious campaign. I personally am very partial to local campaigns. I think they're very important. All of that stuff equally applies to ballot access campaigns, though. If you're in a ballot access state and you need funding, I want to fund you. I'm the one that says yes. I say yes to everything. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Throw money at it. Yes, yes, yes. I want to fund all the people's campaigns. I want to do all this stuff. Not everyone on the board agrees with me. That's where it comes to consensus decision-making and probably a healthy system of checks and balances. So you have to convince them. Don't think about convincing me. Think about convincing them, the ones who are going to be a little bit tighter with the purse strings. Other candidate stuff we have. At National, we have a whole ton of promotional materials that I am saying we are going to give it away. Give it away now, like the song. You got to be in the area. You need to coordinate with the vice chair or maybe with Otto, the Region 5 rep, to find out when they are going to be bringing people up. I know that they've been talking with the state chairs. Check with your state chair if you haven't if you haven't had any luck or heard anything from Andrew yet. They are coordinating a date. I think the 21st was thrown out there, but I could be totally wrong. And if I am, I'm so sorry. But check with them. I want you to go and I want you to pick up as many buttons and brochures and door knockers as you can carry. If you're a candidate and you need materials, go pick all that stuff up. Here's what you should do. Get a business card made, a small card that is affordable. Take that and staple or tape it to a libertarian branded door knocker and take all that stuff and drop it on all of your walk lists. Speaking of walk lists, you should have voter gravity. Voter gravity costs normally thousands and thousands of dollars. It's a very expensive tool. We have a very good deal from Voter Gravity because they were so gracious to give us this deal where you can get it for as little as $50 a month, depending on what kind of race you're running. If you are a serious candidate and you want to win, you should go have Voter Gravity. That might be another thing that the Candidate Support Committee could ask you when they are finding out whether or not you're someone that the LNC should donate money to. You need Voter Gravity. You need to understand how to campaign, how to generate walk lists. Go get Voter Gravity because it has all the data in it already plugged in. You don't have to buy your campaign data. You go and you purchase Voter Gravity. It populates it with data. It tells you how to generate a walk list. It generates it for you. You can keep track of everything. Take little notes. It greatly diminishes your need for a professional, expensive campaign manager. So go get that. Get motivated. Knock doors. Tell people that you're running for office. You're going to improve their lives. Take notes. What do they care about? Write it down. Repeat. Knock on the next door. Lather, rinse, repeat. Tell Candidate Support Committee. Convince LNC to give you money. Make more money. Do it again. That's how we get elected. That's how we become successful. Voter Gravity. I'll say it again. Voter Gravity. What else have we got for candidates? We have training programs and we have a political director. We had an online class series called LP Masterclass where you could hear from our political director, Nathan Fatal. You could hear from our PR director, Brian McWilliams. You could hear from a variety of other people who taught really great classes like Diego. what should you do as a candidate? What should you do as a campaign manager? A couple of really cool things on activism as well. Like, how do you get viral media attention? How do you go disrupt town halls, and embarrass AOC and then get your name out there? Really great resources that our candidates should use, especially if you're a first-time candidate and you're not really sure what you're doing or how to do it. Do it for sure. Take our classes, contact us. We're going to get the videos up. They were live classes. It's always better to attend live, which is why we are going to be hosting LP Masterclass at the National Convention on Thursday for the day of training. We will have Leadership Institute there. We will have Nathan Fatal there. It's going to be a 6-hour training. There are additional trainings as well. You can do Carla Howell's Who's Driving training, which is fantastic. She did that for us in the tent at PorkFest. I love Carla. She's really good at helping you understand how to frame and control the narrative. We've got Joanne Skousen of Freedom Fest doing a course on using culture, to make an impact for libertarianism. We've got a couple of other classes happening. So definitely, if you haven't planned your travel yet, please include Thursday for the National Convention, because it's going to be a really great class, especially if you're a candidate. What else? Our political director, Nathan Fatal, who is great, hosts 2 online Zoom calls a month. If you're a candidate, you can jump right in and you can ask Nathan any questions. And it's the perfect time to come out and say, so-and-so in the Libertarian Party of whatever convinced me to run for office, and I decided to do it. And I realized right now I don't know what I'm doing. There's no ego. There's no expectation. You can come in and ask anything you want. You can come in and say, this is my 3rd time running for office. I've got, 21,000 constituents in my district. I've door knocked, 7,000 doors. I only have time to door knock another 6,000. How do I make myself more effective? You can come in very high level and granular too. Nathan is very skilled and he understands exactly where we're at party-wise. He takes role. He helps you. He walks you through things. He tells you, what you should be doing. He's very skilled with helping us understand how to get volunteers and utilize them and keep utilizing so we don't lose them through the campaign. That was something I really struggled with when I ran for Congress. I was like, I don't understand how to get people to do anything except door knock. How do I keep them engaged? I'm overwhelmed. Come ask Nathan. So many good things for candidates right now. So many good things. I know everybody's really focused on our presidential race, and I feel for our presidential candidates. I know what it's like to be in charge of something, to be running for the top thing. Everyone is just nasty to you. No one appreciates you. Like, I get it. I appreciate them. I don't want to discredit them or discount them or say that what they're doing is not important, because it is. But I do want to say that running for local office where you can get elected and be one of like 5 to 12 people is incredibly powerful. I mean, you can go in and filibuster, you can sway, you can be the guy that decides whether or not a local tax is implemented, change zoning laws. By the way, I just found out there's some incredibly idiotic sprinkler law in the city of Austin where I'm not supposed to use a sprinkler during the day. Like I have like the hose, the old school, and the little like, ooh, like the kids playing. I found out it's illegal. I just was about to lose my shit. Like some bossy like Karen in my neighborhood was telling my friend to turn her sprinkler off. So you can be the person to kill the comments of the Karens in your city council. You can get rid of that. It's really amazing. You could go and you could legalize backyard chickens. You could legalize beekeeping. You could get rid of all those stupid laws. This is a really good one. This would probably be great outreach for the left too. This was a huge problem in the city of LA. You want to build something in your backyard. Your parents are aging and you would like them to live out the remainder of their lives with some dignity and privacy. So you would like to put an extra dwelling unit in your backyard. You have plenty of room. It's totally safe. Oh, but it's going to cost $30,000 in terrorist permits and fees from your local government. Please go get elected to your city council or your building committee or whatever the hell it is and get rid of that. You would change so many people's lives. You would be like, people would love you. You would be cheered and revered if grandmas could just move in and live in the same place as their grandchildren. And you'd get rid of the arguments for Social Security. Trust me. Anyway, change someone's life, change your own life, change your grandma's life, run for local office. And let's utilize all these awesome freaking tools that me and the rest of the LNC has worked so hard to get you. And I'm so sorry that I don't talk about them more often. I should, and I will. What I am also going to be giving our candidates is a nearly free website. So staff has been working on this really hard since November. I'm so sorry that I did not launch it sooner. He is, as I mentioned, very talented, but very overworked. So I took this off of his plate and I had a contractor finish it. And he's almost done. He'll be done in a week. And then we're going to put this template website up on our website, lp.org. Go to our store, shop.lp.org, which is beautiful, by the way. Thank you, Carrie Eiler. And you will be able to buy your website. I don't know, maybe $25 is what I'll charge for it. You'll just buy it and then you'll purchase it. You'll download it. You need to set it up, point the name servers and all that, but you don't have to design it. Put your photo in, swap out the three, template language, boilerplate language, put your campaign slogan in, point it, make it go live. Don't pay $20 a month for a GoDaddy website that looks like hot garbage, where you're just like, look at my website and it's like pixelated and it's some awkward mint green color with, some GIF that you pulled off of the internet because you're like, I don't know, GeoCities. Like, don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do it to me. Don't bring it to the candidate support committee and ask them to fund you when you have an ugly ass website. Go to shop.lp.org. Give me about a week and a half. You can buy a brand new, beautiful website. Don't put your Facebook page as your website if you send out a press release or you get your name and all your information in the ballot. Make it a nice website, please. I'm going to make it possible for you. What else? I'm going to have new door knocking materials for you too. And I'm going to have them in 2 formats. You're going to be able to download it on Canva. And just like the website, you can plug and play, put your photo in. Almost anyone can figure out how to use Canva. And I'm going to have a better version that's in Photoshop. So you can download it, you can create it, and you can print it on your own. You don't have to design it. You don't have to make cringe flyers. I've done it. I've made so many cringe, bad flyers. Usually as a cry for help when Christian Malazarte is unavailable, I will make the ugliest flyer, and then he will come in and be like, oh my gosh, you can't do that, Angela. I'm going to have an aneurysm. So anyway, we're going to make walk materials available for you. I want you to run for office, if you can't tell, and I want to make it really easy on you. I want to make it very appealing. Is there anything you want to accomplish that you haven't been able to accomplish yet? That's a great question. We talked about marketing funnels. I feel like I'm going to squeak by with a lot of this stuff done before the national convention. Fundraising toolkits. This is something I haven't been able to accomplish yet. We need fundraising training for our candidates. And I don't mean a 45-minute talk where someone gives you a script and tells you it's important. I mean, you need Emily's List style weekend where you are locked in a room with a fundraising drill sergeant who breaks you down psychologically and rebuilds you and molds you into a fundraising machine. We are going to get it. It might take me till the summer, but we are going to have fundraising boot camp if I get reelected. I am going to cram you in there and I'm going to break you psychologically. And at the end of it, you are going to just love me for it because your campaign is going to be successful and you're going to make money. And I'll go through the misery of it too. I don't intend to put you through anything that I wouldn't put myself through. What else? You know what I would love? If you are a candidate who has used voter gravity, please reach out to me because we have a spreadsheet and I need to make sure that it is updated. Yeah, that's really awesome stuff that we've got. Let's talk about a handful of other things that I think the National Party has accomplished that we don't get a lot of credit for, or maybe we do. Maybe I'm just not noticing it. We are going to uphold and continue to uphold, and we have upheld the core principles of the Libertarian Party. Individual rights, limited government, anarchism, whichever one you want, free markets, free speech, peaceful foreign policy. We have taken a principled stand on key issues during unpopular times. In 2020, the National Party just fell on its face during COVID. One of the LNC members said we should stay in our lane. They made literally no comment for an entire year on the greatest violation of civil liberties since, I don't know, the draft. It's so bad. And we didn't do it this time. And I think that there was a lot of stress and hand wringing, and worry over how we commented on the war in Ukraine. And I understand some of our social media commentary was a little bit coarse. I tried not to micromanage them. Some of it was a little coarse and a little crass. But the most crass, vulgar thing that you could possibly do would be to say we support war overseas. And we didn't do that. We didn't say, oh, you're right, Putin's an evil tyrant, therefore let's dump a bunch of American taxpayer money over there and put poor Ukrainian men who were drafted into the war through the horrible meat grinder of the front lines. We did not do that. It was unpopular at the time, and now look at what's happened. Now everybody agrees. Now everybody says they should go over there and negotiate. We should try to find a peaceful resolution and end to this, because it's a terrible thing that's happened over there. And the United States shouldn't be putting their taxpayer dollars over there. We shouldn't be involved in foreign seas, foreign conflicts overseas. I hope that taking a principled stand on that, and on our refusal to support foreign aid for Israel, I hope that helps move the needle in the direction. Because I think that foreign aid to Israel right now is wildly unpopular, even with right-wingers, especially dissident right-wing. A lot of the people we see on Twitter, fellow travelers who, maybe they lean towards supporting President Trump, or maybe they're more conservative than us. But the Israel foreign aid doesn't pass the sniff test. I love it. I love it. Peaceful foreign policy is going to become popular. We're not there yet, but it's going to become popular. So props to the Libertarian Party for doing a good job on that. Something else that I'd like to do, and I hope that I get to it before the end of my term, is I think that we need an anti-war resolution among the wider international libertarian movement, international libertarian parties and organizations and thought leaders. We need something that people can sign on to and say, you know what, we affirm this. It's wrong. The United States needs to mind its own business. We don't support American military conquest. We don't support wars for empire. We should bring the troops home. I won't threaten and humiliate people who don't sign it, because I think that's really annoying. But I think that it is something that I would like to circulate, as opposed to it being a call-out document. I would like it to be like a flagship document, and something that we can champion and celebrate and be excited about. And look at how many awesome organizations there are out there who share our views. Because I don't want it to get, drowned out by, I don't know, these woke weirdos who think that things like NATO are good in some freak show, strange reason. NATO's bad. NATO's bad. And if that makes you angry, I invite you to sit with your discomfort and rethink your life. It is a really tough job running the National Libertarian Party. The things that I have done are not all glorious. They're not all exciting, but what they are is the foundation for success. We had no foundation, and I went in and I rebuilt it, instead of spending all of my time ranting on the internet about my political opposition and sending out mailers and harassing people. Instead of doing all of that stupid but very attention-seeking shit, I went in and I did really hard, ugly work. Build foundation, dig in on operations, make the party successful, make it so that we don't have so much chaos when we have turnover. Because whoever comes after me, even if that person hates my guts and they want to just tear apart everything I've built, they won't be lost or confused. They'll know exactly what's happened over the last 2 years, and they'll know exactly what trajectory we were at. They'll know how much things cost. They'll know how much money things generate. And that's so critical to running a serious organization. And my goal has been to make us serious and professional. When I said that we're not going to be an embarrassing organization, what did people immediately turn around to do? Try to embarrass me. The harder you point at that sort of stuff, the more you just show your own failures. If you were a former staffer and you want to laugh and squawk and say, oh, the party's not doing well, it's you, dude. You're the one, but it's okay, because I'm here to clean up the mess and make it so that we succeed in the future. And I think that we're doing an awesome job in spite of all of the hurdles and obstacles set before us. We're kicking over every single one. We're going forward, and we're going to kick ass. And I'm just super excited and grateful to be a part of it. And major thanks to the LNC. Major thanks to Kathy and Andrew for having the patience to navigate some of this stuff with me, with staff, and how granular it's been. And to Karen Ann for doing her part to keep the administrative side of things going, and for Adrian for stepping up and filling the role of convention committee chair. And, major thanks to staff too, because the ones that have stuck around and the ones that have come on board have done an amazing job. They have really started to gel with each other. They work closely together. We have good camaraderie. Like, I'm deeply appreciative to them. We've finally gotten to the level where, like, I feel like everybody's sort of outside of they're comfortable being outside of their comfort zone. They'll give me ideas. I love their ideas. Drew had this amazing idea about project it was like it's Liberty Activation. It's an affiliate thing. Dig through your email and find it. It's wonderful. He put together this whole contest that affiliates can participate in and compete with each other. It was just like, they're doing a really fantastic job. We just need to keep going. We need to expand the work that we're doing. We need to reach new members, and we need to not get bogged down with stupid bullshit. And we're going to do that. We're going to continue to do that under my leadership. I will overcome anything you throw at me. But the haters have already thrown everything that they have at me. And here I am still going. I am dedicated and I am resilient. And we are going to continue to make progress under my leadership. We will grow. We will gain new members and donors. It doesn't matter if Bitcoin tanks. It doesn't matter if people send out shitty mailers about me. We will thrive, and we will stay radically principled and correct on the tough issues. No vaccine mandates, no war in Ukraine, no foreign aid to Israel, free speech, all of that stuff. We're building something also that I got to say is bigger than any one candidate or personality. We're building a movement that has the power to not just sway the outcome of a presidential election, but the power to sway major party presidential campaigns in real time and executive actions down the road. The power to mold electoral outcomes and to conform them to the principles of libertarianism and to move this country in the direction of freedom. And if you're curious about that and you wonder what I'm hinting at, show up at our national convention and I'll show you. In the meantime, please donate. This is a ton of work. I have not campaigned as hard as I could have because I've been so hyper-focused on fixing the infrastructure of the party and making sure that staff is supported and that we're doing all the things that we should be doing. Please donate, paypal.me/Angela McArdle. You can join my Patreon, patreon.com/Angela McArdle. I'm in a locals group. You can give $5 a month at that level. I have Substack. I write less often than I wish than I want to. I wrote so much more when I was campaigning because I was churning out a speech every weekend, visiting different states. But I am going to hopefully be able to write more. I'd love to hire an executive director in the future and stop filling that role myself. But it is so incredibly rewarding to see things take place. So please donate. Help me get the word out. I do need to send flyers. I need to get a table at the national level. I do all of this stuff for practically free. I have some really amazing supporters like Will Hobson and Craig, and there's just, Matt Lawrence. There's some really great people who help me to make things, who make it financially possible for me. But a little bit more will help push me over the edge. I really need to start talking about all the really good work that we've done and conveying, quite frankly, what an enormous amount of work it is for anybody else who wants to fill my shoes. Have a great Sunday. I appreciate you guys so much. And I am going to start live streaming a lot more often. Photograph